going to be a good episode. Oh, Micah's making the hand symbols.
Okay, I'm gonna cut you off. I don't know what we're gonna cut off, but it might be something you might want to keep. Anyway.
This episode is the second episode of the Friday, September 17th, 2021.
And also brought to you by Squarespace. Are you looking to make yourself a website?
Well, we don't have...
Squarespace will help you.
We don't have sponsors. Nice try.
That's right, squarespace.com. If you enter promo code IIOLIES, you'll get 10% off.
Also, just Google the promo code.
I actually
and just
like that as a promo
anywhere.
code. IIOLIES. I don't hate that. You know, as just a future thought, if we ever make it big, we won't.
Weird.
Also, that's just going to be my t-shirt. It's just I, and then IO will be like faded, and just lie.
But, dear listener, worry not. We'll not have real promotions.
Dear listener. Just the one
Thank
of
you, constant listener.
Dear listener.
We appreciate
That's
your
right,
loyalty.
Stephen King. We know you listen.
Thanks, Mom. I also kind of feel bad for Stephen King because I actually don't really like his work. And I won't.
No, he writes bad books.
I've
been listening to a podcast that is like a book club for specifically Stephen King books, and they're gushing and gloating about like how he writes.
I actually do appreciate.
Very funny.
No, I actually do appreciate the way how he writes. He actually is a very good writer. I wouldn't say he's an okay storyteller, but he's actually not bad as a writer. Like he has some pretty good passages. Like his use of words.
Any dialogue with
I will say it's very vulgar. It is very vulgar.
Or anyone of African American ancestry.
It's not good. Like it's not good morally, if that's what you mean. But it's not. The word choice is. The word choice is okay. I can appreciate his word choice, but I wouldn't say I enjoy like.
Oh yes, nothing like Halloran's testicles dropped as ice cubes when he felt. The
He's gross. That's what I mean. He's so viscerally gross. Like it's.
That's right.
I appreciate
kids.
the
I'm
talent.
gonna strip naked and lick the entire floor and savor every sliver that punctures my tongue as blood oozes.
This is a really
out of my
weird
mouth.
opening. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm a fan either, but I can appreciate the word choice and how it's constructed. It's very visceral, it's powerful, and it stays in your head, clearly.
One of the fun aspects of this podcast
He's
is
also gross.
Different sections, and one of the sections is pound cake. And their pound cake section is their favorite part of the book, where Stephen King cannot talk about sex properly.
That's true.
And it's just like very juvenile.
He ends up a lot on the subreddit Men Writing Women. A lot.
He's very bad.
He's very bad at it. He's also really like just gross about. Well, no, I'll leave that alone. But yeah, just gross. He's a very
also,
gross
like,
writer.
In the Mist, the love interest like has telepathy, and she's just like, "You said my rack looked nice. Let's go to the manager's office and fuck." And
yeah,
then that happens.
That's
just like,
see,
there are interdimensional monsters assaulting your city, and you are stuck in a fucking supermarket with some religious fanatic who's making her own cult about sacrificing.
Men
and you're
writing
just
women.
like,
am I right? Am I right?
Yeah,
I need to care for my son, but I want to fuck you.
Okay, so all of this is going to be cut off, or is it? But
or is it?
we're going to talk about our podcast. Isn't it obvious that...
That's our intro?
That's
Come
the
on,
intro.
Phil. Come on.
Do you want me to actually announce
Welcome
our
to
name?
Isn't It Obvious? We had a fucking
I am
3-minute
your
cold open.
host, Phil.
Yeah. How are we supposed to know who's talking?
Joining me is...
They might confuse you for me.
Who's going to
lizard
join this
and a
episode,
very
like,
angry-
however numbered this episode is, and not know who we are?
Because
That's
this is the
fair.
first
No,
episode.
that's that's a fair point.
No,
right
if people
there.
come into this, how often do you start a podcast and start at episode 1? You start at, like, the most recent. Just to see if you'll like it after some time. Then you'll go back to the beginning of the catalog and catch yourself
crazy
back
thing
up.
is that? You start at episode 1.
No,
you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't?
No,
Absolutely not.
I don't for a lot of podcasts.
Okay, what do you start in the middle?
Start
Most
wherever,
recent.
like, the
Yeah,
most
most
recent.
recent.
Unless it's like a part, and then you go back to where single. Like if you're starting hardcore history, you're not going to start with Supernova of the East Part 6. You'll go back to Part 1, but that's still his most recent work.
I can't abide by this. You start at the first one because you get all the
No, then
context
you
of the
don't know
next-
if you'll like it.
It
So
depends.
you go with the most recent.
If it's episodic, you start at episode 1.
Yeah, if it's
If it's like current events, you start now.
Yeah.
If it's if it's like hardcore history, you just pick whatever
Yeah,
interests
it's
you.
whatever stories there
Yeah,
from
like,
the 10 that are available,
yeah,
or
like
whatever it is.
But it does depend on the podcast. But yeah, for like ours, no, we can start anywhere. So it's probably going to be the most recent.
Yeah.
Wow, this got really long. What is even this intro?
No, we're not even at the intro yet. This is the cold open.
Is this the cold open?
Welcome to Isn't It Obvious with Phil and Micah and Sera, and today's topic is, isn't it obvious that upkeep ain't cheap and everything needs it?
Yeah.
Now, upkeep is incredibly cheap when you compare it with replacement.
Oh, well, okay, that's fair, but it's still not cheap. Not
But
with,
it's cheaper than
not with
replacement.
wages. Not with wages not, increasing.
Since
And trying to
1970.
trying to fucking afford to do any like major project on your property is literally like an arm and a leg sometimes.
Honestly, I feel like buying something brand new is cheaper than getting a replacement.
Yeah, because
part
then you don't
sometimes.
have to. Yeah, then you don't have to like go through the hassle of fixing everything.
Well, it's
Right.
over. And
it's
over
different
and
when
over
it's
again, constantly,
like a product compared to a
or just
structure.
keeping the old thing that was made well from like the 50s and just using that because it will last forever if you know how to, because it's simple enough you can maintain it pretty easily and it will still work and do what it needs to do.
There's a fun anecdote about SpaceX sending up 4 amateur astronauts soonish, and the scientists they were talking to was like, yeah, and 50 years ago people had to maintain their own carburetors, and now we've lost that because it's become so ubiquitous and easy, and we delegate that expertise to someone else.
Yeah, we have
Which that
specialization.
is upkeep. I put $3,000 into my car recently.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah, I have thoughts on that, which you might have read in my afterthoughts.
I did. I felt like German cars. The only thing more expensive than a luxury German car is luxury German car repairs.
Yep.
No, absolutely not.
Micah's-
Italian car repairs. Yeah, fucking try and fix a Ferrari for less than $10,000.
You don't fix a Ferrari. You just say goodbye, Ferrari.
You sell it to someone
You
else for
sell it
like
to somebody else.
2/3 of its value. You're like, it doesn't run. They're like, I don't care. I get to own a Ferrari.
Yeah, well, these gearheads love Ferrari. I mean, okay, anyway yes,
sorry.
3,000 car.
But that upkeep, opposed to me paying off my vehicle and selling it for less than $3,000 because that work had to be put into it. And me taking on the added equity of a new car, because I'm certainly not getting a used car in this market. is
You may not even get a
more-
new car actually because of the chip shortage. I mean, there's
But-
new cars, but it's you may not.
But the chip
fucking
shortage
Ford
is
Focus.
real.
It is.
yeah.
It's real, and there's like no you can't even negotiate at this point. You get what you get.
Yeah. I mean, you can negotiate if you're selling, not if you're buying.
True.
But that added equity would be more detrimental to me financially than me putting in the $3,000 repair.
Okay, so one of my points.
God damn it. Okay, so
One of my points is the previous generation. I think I made a mention of this in an earlier podcast. Was that they like to repair things and mend things when possible, but in reality, we don't think about purchasing things on 3 dimensions. We just purchase it on the first dimension, which is usually cost. Like, I'm going to price this out. And they've done it in supermarket studies where people will change their mind on less than 10 cents for a can of beans, right? Even if one
I'll
of them
do
is
that.
clearly superior, or just maybe not, but just like that's how price sensitive we are for a can of beans. But I will argue that we don't think about the other 2 dimensions. One, which is reliability, and the other, which is size. So like how long and how, I suppose, how big is this going to be as a burden? So when it comes to like jewels, that's fine, I guess. I mean, they hold their value pretty well, I suppose.
But that's all subject on the economy and supply and demand.
Right.
Because
Well, I mean-
jewels don't offer anything tangible other than being pretty.
But
also
I could-
jewels don't require that much maintenance.
Yeah.
That's true. So it's a pretty decent, like,
It's
if
an
you look at it
investment that
from
doesn't require like any upkeep.
follow 3 perspective of inventory versus value versus weight, versus something like a PlayStation 3 is basically dead weight, right? And it's
Apart
just
from the
takes
rare
up
earth
space.
materials inside it that make it more valuable.
Right,
But
but
you have to like rip it apart and salvage out that gold.
and they don't last very long because they have like the engine of a 747 humming when you're trying to like watch a DVD.
Mine still works. Granted, the fan is fucked, so it's when it runs.
I don't know why.
I have no idea if mine
But
works.
why do they do that? Okay, anyway, so
Why? Because it's a bunch of dog hair and a fan that I just need to clean.
well, the issue I have is that for most things,
That upkeep. I need to
That was-
participate in that upkeep.
you
My
have to
PS3 was just
participate in
fine.
upkeep.
Hashtag truth. Anyway,
The issue I have is that we don't look at
Facts.
it as a consumer populace about reliability,
But I feel
upkeep, maintenance.
I do.
yeah, we as a generation, as the millennials we are learning that lesson. Because
Yeah, we are.
we're experiencing America on the tail end of the height of consumerism of the 70s and 80s, where it was products, no quality. And now we're seeing that quality is relevant. So that is changing a lot of our purchasing habits.
We literally can't afford things to break every year, like, and things do. Like, I've got a toaster, right? Have I told you my toaster story?
Toaster.
My toaster, okay, it's great. It is almost as old as I am. It is the perfect toaster. It's never broken. It toasts perfectly, even like...
You can't toast a baguette in that.
No.
You are stuck with cut American bread.
That you don't toast baguettes. You broil them anyway.
But
in the oven, like a fucking sane person.
But can you say the same thing for your printer?
I don't have a printer.
Right, why not?
Because once my printer broke, I threw it away, and I did not buy a new one because ink is too expensive.
The maintenance cost of it is actually pretty high to run.
Yeah. Well, okay, so like it's cheaper to buy a new printer than to send your printer out to get fixed or to figure out how to fix it yourself. You might as well just throw it in the trash and buy a new printer. But then you have to...
Christ.
No, you go Office Space on that. You beat it with a fucking baseball bat.
No, it's like...
way more entertaining and does the same thing.
I don't even know how much a printer costs right now, but it's
$100.
$100, we'll say. Yeah.
But
also,
$100 for an okay color printer for your personal use, and then the ink, that's like $50 for the color and $50 for the black.
Yep.
So that's another $100 for the ink that you have to replace as it, just maintaining that, just being able to use it costs a shit ton of money.
But isn't $100?
It's not worth having a printer. It's just
Isn't
not.
$100 about our price point for when we start caring about quality?
Almost, yeah.
Maybe.
I would say
Because
so.
$50 is investment, but if you go to the grocery store and you walk out of there less than $50, you're fucking ecstatic.
Yeah.
That's true. But
when you're over $100, then you're like, damn. But if it's like $80, you're like...
But I would expect $100.
Okay.
I would expect a $100 printer or a $100 microwave, for example, to last more than 5 years. And yet they really don't.
They don't.
They don't. And I think I kind of I gave up on a printer and I gave up on a microwave because I'm just like, I'm not buying another.
I feel microwaves have more longevity.
They don't.
They really don't.
They don't,
They're
yeah.
garbage. They're
You must have
just
gotten a
trash.
good year, but...
No, the last microwave I had has been used regularly for over a decade. And I used it
What's
regularly
that brand?
enough.
Do you know?
Oh, I threw it away.
Why did you throw it away?
Why did you throw it away, Micah?
Because it was gigantic.
But it was still working?
Yeah.
Why didn't you donate that fucker?
Oh, man, Micah,
Or
you're
give it
just
to somebody
cursing the
who needs-
microwave
Hey,
gods.
all right. I was incredibly depressed when I moved, and I made a lot of really rash choices and threw away a lot of things that I just
Okay,
didn't give a fuck
fair
about.
enough.
That's actually the right move.
That is-
by the
Especially
way.
because after my dog died,
Yeah.
not in a good mental place, and I just said
Fair
fuck it to so many. I threw away a perfectly good fucking vacuum, and I'm upset about that.
Vacuum.
That-
I mean, it was a shit vacuum. It was a
Yeah.
$100 vacuum, but I had it for 5-6 years. And
Okay.
Like, fuck it.
So speaking of
that's true
vacuums,
about
I've
vacuums.
got a great vacuum. It's also about as old as that fucking toaster over there.
Fucking Dirt Devil from '88.
I don't know.
Fucking tan hand thing.
No, it's like this blue thing. I don't know, but it still works and it's great, and I'm never getting rid of it because no, I've had I have this other mini vacuum thing, it's battery powered that my parents bought me from Costco because it was like a housewarming gift.
Oh, yeah.
Which was really nice of them, but it's a shit vacuum.
Yeah.
Hand vac? That was the...
No, it's
It's like a portable battery-powered vacuum.
It's like a little
Okay.
vacuum, and it works really good on hardwood floors for if you're picking up cat
you're
hair.
doing quick stuff where you spill some rice.
No,
No?
it would not pick up rice.
Really?
It will pick up cat hair or
Oh my
human
God.
hair, but it will not.
Dust and shit, but
But
nothing with substance.
it does
Anything
unless
over 2 grams, it's nope, fuck it.
pretty much unless you have the brush on, which you wouldn't do on a hardwood floor. You would only do that on a rug or a carpet,
Yeah.
which then it might pick up your
Well, wouldn't you want
slightly.
You
But no,
still want that on a light thing, even on
No.
hardwood. Because don't you want to agitate for it to suck in?
not on hardwood.
Hmm.
No, you'll scratch it.
I
Unless
also
you have
feel like-
distress floors like me, which I suppose I could do. It wouldn't matter.
Also, the brush seems to kick things away.
Yeah, that too. It's not,
Strange.
yeah.
Because I agree with the agitation. Because you want to pound the floor so that things go up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
suck them up.
But you don't really necessarily
But
do
you
that.
can do that with carpet, but you don't want to do that with
Yeah.
wood floor because
Well, you have to do it with carpet, or else if you don't have anything to agitate that carpet, it's just gonna sit.
It's gonna stay in there, feed the mites, and whatever else.
And then
you
you
have.
lay down and you get covered in mites, and then you become the mightiest mite.
True
Anyway,
story.
So quality, $100. Is that the price point? Because I feel like, again, I spent nothing on this toaster, and my parents spent like, I don't know, $400 on this fucking space toaster, which is a very nice toaster, but it fucking broke after a year. And I'm just like, how do you justify that?
I do think $100 is the price point. Like, you go to Costco or Target, it seems like things are kind of priced at that point. Like, there was this turkey deep fryer that was $100. You know, it's almost like they know what the psychological limit is for someone just to impulsively
3 digits.
buy.
No, can't do it.
It's it's 3 digits, and it's an impactful number for metric. So I don't know why it works since we use imperial. Like, shouldn't it be like $144 then?
Yeah,
No?
but you know,
No.
we don't know what we use here.
Don't worry about
but
it.
it's still a plus or minus.
think too-
Like, if you're looking, so say you're going out to buy a microwave, and you see a microwave for 80, 100, and 120. Which one are you gonna go with?
The
Probably
$40
100.
one. The $40
No,
one.
these are your 3 options. You need a microwave. These are your 3 options.
I'd probably go
You
for
got
the 100 one.
80,
yeah.
100, $120.
I'm gonna skip it, and I'm gonna just use my oven like I do now.
Sarah,
That's what I did.
No.
That's literally what I did.
that's not what I'm posing in this hypothetical.
Doesn't matter. You
Yes,
can't
it
force
does.
you can't force me to buy a shitty microwave that I don't want and don't need.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
For the sake of a hypothetical.
I refuse. You can't have my
Hypothetically,
wallet
I will
or my
hypothetically
fake wallet.
refuse.
I
I
will.
will actually refuse your hypothetical. You're not playing the game.
I'm not gonna play this game because I wouldn't. I didn't. This is literally what I chose not to get a mic.
All right, fine. Whatever appliance you like. Your vacuum breaks.
How about
Are
a
you
new
gonna go
rice
with an
cooker?
$80?
How about a new rice cooker? Because I do need one.
Oh yeah, okay.
All
New
right,
rice
sure.
cooker.
New rice
You have
cooker.
an $80 rice cooker,
And this is
$100
about
rice
equivalent.
cooker,
This
and
is about equivalent
$120
to a
rice
microwave
cooker.
and how they cost.
So which one are you gonna get?
So you got
Medium?
you have
Okay,
there's
sorry.
a $20 difference between all 3 of them.
Okay, so you got a what?
You have an 80, 100, about 120 rice cooker.
Okay.
And they all have slightly different bells and whistles. They're all different brands. What is your
I'd probably go
thought
for the,
process
I would
in
probably
purchasing?
go for the middle of the road one, unless there was some feature. Because $20 more for a really nice rice cooker wouldn't be that big of a deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for like example, because I just my coffee maker broke recently, and it was like I think I used
Also, never buy cheap coffee makers. They fucking suck.
Agreed. I actually inherited one. My parents gave me their original old coffee. It was Cuisinart coffee maker, and it worked for a good long while. But eventually, it like after I don't know, it lasted more than 10 years, so that's pretty good. So I can't complain. But
How much upkeep was put into it? How often was it washed out with like apple cider vinegar?
almost never.
That's
was-
got aged flavor. Like
It was great. It was great.
That's a cast iron
It
skillet
was-
right there.
Yeah,
Seasoned.
it was very seasoned.
Still tastes like Folgers from '97.
God damn it, Holders.
It was never Folgers. Anyway,
This episode.
this is personally liked coffee. So
Sorry for the interruption. Here's the ad, bro.
yeah.
Brought to you by Folgers.
So my new
The best dirt you can drink.
The new coffee maker that I looked at a bunch of coffee. I'm like, oh, okay, I could get like a cheap one for $30 or a cheap one for like $20. And like it was all like Mr. Coffee, and I'm like, I don't know this brand.
Those are garbage.
And
Mr.
they
Coffee's
are. They are
garbage.
fucking garbage because
Yeah.
that's the reviews I read. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting that. So I'm looking into other... I'm like, I might as well just get another Cuisinart because that lasted me fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
And if they can keep that standard of quality, like, I trust a brand that can last me over 10 years. Like, that's fucking great. So
Another
I got a new one.
aspect.
It was $80.
About our
$80.
society,
Worth it.
like our
Worth
age
it.
group, and when we're collectively approaching middle age. Some of us faster than others.
Woo.
Guys.
I'm holding the mirror up, Phil. I'm
Dude.
43.
I've been... You are not 43, but I've been
I feel
200.
43,
I have been
and I
200.
Fucking 70. But anyway, like, we have a lot more, we have better consumer reviews than what previous generations had. And we have quicker access to it where we can be in the store, look at a thing, and look up reviews for that specific thing instantaneously and actually get other user reviews. Some of them are bullshit, yeah, but you take the aggregate.
Yeah.
Didn't have that in the 90s.
Yeah. You had word of mouth.
And
But-
it showed.
So you'll get the middle of the road rice cooker for $100 between those three
Probably.
things. So what about between 80, 130, and 150?
How similar? They're all generally the same basic product.
Different companies have made them, but yes, there is a heating coil that will heat up your
So 80, 130, and 100 and what?
50.
150?
So still $20 price between the top two, but a $50 discrepancy between the lowest and the middle.
I'd probably still go with the middle of the road, or maybe
At that point, why not? Like, it's $20. You're
No,
already over 100. It's $20.
No, I'd probably still do the 131. I'm very middle of the roady. That's kind of my MO. Like, that's where I go. I don't need the top.
Hey,
thing.
anything
I'm
about
not
the
gonna buy.
Shoney's,
I'm
we're
not gonna
definitely
buy a
middle of the road.
$200 rice cooker. I'm gonna buy a $100 rice cooker.
Right.
Well, if it's a $200 rice cooker, it also better boil my feet to comfort.
Basically, yeah, it better be like a fucking delightful like foot bath as well. So
And also,
God, why would you do that?
you wouldn't.
no, you get a little bit of that athlete's foot in there. It adds more flavor.
Got some nice
Jesus.
fungus.
You're like,
yeah,
this
fungus
is
for
some
your
sour
rice.
It's
I love
tasty.
mushrooms and rice. Anyway, well, anyway,
just
I'm
throw
so
up in my
sorry.
mouth.
Yeah, we all kind of
But
did
it's
there.
we're also in a consumer age where we can't participate in upkeep as much as we could before because of how intricate
Well,
and
and this is
complex
why I try to
our
keep.
consumer goods are.
This is why I fucking try to keep the things that work as long as I can, because I hate throwing away. Like, I hate throwing away stuff, so I won't get a new thing, even though it might be more convenient or might be like better. Like my rice cooker, I think I bought it in college. It was $14. Still works. I still use it. It's definitely over 10 years now. So, I mean, it's not bad. It's a cheap, shitty Target one, like, but it's good enough for what I use it for. So
Sorry to break in. We have a second ad break about Target.
Target, why don't you shop here? Because you don't want to shop at Walmart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Target. It's not Walmart.
Target. You don't want to go to Walmart, do you?
Target, you
Where
have
else
to
are you
put
gonna-
on shoes and clothes to go here.
Target. When you wake up and say, I have to be presentable to the world, regardless where I'm going.
Target, when you don't want to see police officers at your local grocery store.
Target, where you have the choice between paper and plastic, even though you're still in kind of a weird supermarket
That's true.
situation.
Target, where the auto checkouts actually work with a bit of regularity.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
they do.
They're kind of on point.
Okay, so aside from Target,
God damn it.
Walmart has like a crazy bad problem with so much crime that cop cars are always there. And then my poor, I would just say parents, they like that because they think that means the cops are there to make it secure, so they feel like they're safe.
Hilarious.
And I'm like, no,
I thought
no,
Walmart-
this is the exact opposite.
I
Like,
thought Walmart paid local police to have...
Presents?
Yeah.
no, in most cases, Walmart doesn't do anything, and they call
That's
the
shocking.
cops so often that it taxes the local officers, and it diverts them from other things that they're supposed to be doing, like
Mhm.
serving
They should
the
really
community.
just hire their own private security.
They
That's
do.
what should I know they do.
That's what your grandfather does when he says, "Hi, welcome to Walmart."
Oh yeah, the greeter.
Wait, no, you can't walk out with... Oh, God, my hip.
And that's a strange job.
But it's fine because he like takes his crutch or whatever and he lassos it and he whacks you, knocks out both your knees, and then you're in the emergency room and he gets his bonus for the year.
That's
But
when
then
you
he
learn-
gets sued because
Nah, he's an old
A-
man and
a
he's white.
company
So
cannot cause that much violence to an American individual
It's-
without
He's a
retribution.
private
It's fine.
contractor. He doesn't actually work
Yeah,
for Walmart.
exactly.
He works for Wall-E, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
And it would just
secondary.
completely... A shadow company that dissolves.
He's
Just,
an old-
just works specifically for the Walton family,
Yep.
indirectly working at a Walmart.
No health insurance.
We need to get rid of contract workers. Companies
Seriously.
need to actually
God, I feel-
invest in their employees.
Dude, I really feel sad when I... Okay. Anyway.
I'm so glad Prop 22 was overturned in California. That was fantastic. Prop 22 was so gross to the gig economy.
for our listeners and me who don't know what you're fucking talking about.
Prop 22.
Prop 22 was the law put into California where individuals that worked for internet-based delivery companies or Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, that kind of shit,
Sure.
were under the tax bracket of contract workers. So all the liability fell on them, not the company that was making all of the money.
Fair enough.
And they incorporated it in California where if you ordered something, like if you ordered an Uber, you could not process that order until something popped up. Are you going to vote yes for Prop 22? And if you voted yes on it, you get your order. If you voted no, they would cancel your...
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck those people.
Because it's fucking, we're in the new Gilded Age.
Thank
and
you.
it's fucking gross.
Thank you for informing me and that one
And also,
listener.
that's probably
Our one listener.
Our one
grossly dumbed down for what Prop 22
But
actually
It's
was.
probably good enough for
Yeah,
like.
it's basically the gig economy are subcontracted, so the liability doesn't fall on the company, it falls on the person, and that's fucking dumb.
Well,
It's fucking dumb.
Well, hopefully they can apply this to other.
God, I hate fucking capitalism.
It's
Yeah, I
pretty
mean-
gross. Hopefully they can apply the same thought process behind that to other contracting sort of.
There should not be
They're
subcontractors.
Well,
Period.
I agree. There should just be fucking employees.
If a company is meant to provide a service and they're hiring employees to execute that service, those employees should be under the umbrella of the company.
Otherwise, they're their own company and they should have.
Everything. They should get all of it.
They
I guess
should be
my
paid for
problem
their service.
really isn't that there's contractors. It's that to be an employee with benefits, it's so crucial.
Yeah,
I
you
don't-
can't freelance and
Well, it's
survive
the
unless
gross
you're-
thing about
Age.
that in like Uber and the delivery couriers and all of that is you need car insurance. You need
a
a
car, which is expensive.
And the company, other than making some deal with maybe local dealerships, they're like, do what you want. But if you also get less than a 4.5-star review for anything you do, you're fucking fired.
Yeah, my problem here is that, I mean, in general, I agree with the idea that I could be a consultant and I can make a lot more money than I do right now. That is not true. I could not be a consultant. I would not make much more money. But there is a theory that one could. Is that if you're specialized in a field and you want to be your own contractor, and you sell your labor to a company and you're just like a specialist, I can see why that's very advantageous.
But that should not be your MO for your company business plan. That needs to be an outlier. Like, a company should not rely
Yeah.
on just subcontractors.
Like if you need a like you want to put together an ad campaign as a company because you need a market, like you, if you're not big enough to have your own marketing team,
Most people would
and
outsource this.
most people would outsource this, so they would hire another company.
Fine use of a subcontractor.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's you're subcontracting a company though, not necessarily an individual. You could subcontract
You could
an
subcontract an
individual,
But if your company is...
but that's a service they're providing,
Right.
and you're paying them directly. It isn't using them to serve other customers.
If your company business model
yeah.
is a non-centralized national taxi service and you take zero...
Responsibility or liability?
Yeah, you take zero liability and all of your employees are these subcontractors for their expertise, air quotes around all of that,
Yeah.
that's fucking bullshit. Because no, your company is meant to be a diffuse taxi. Being a taxi driver is incredibly difficult. You have to do so many fucking hoops to do that.
Yeah.
You acting as a subcontractor is you just skirting the law.
Yeah, it is a very
Which goes back to a future or prior topic, depending on when you listen to this, about how we should rewrite a lot of our laws
but
annually.
the problem I really
at least-
see with this
Every decade.
is that the reason why Uber and Lyft took off, and to some a lesser extent, like the companies that also use
The
decentralized,
DoorDash and those things.
other services, is because they're very useful to the public. The average person who uses this could care less about the wages and workers' rights and anything in regards to how this sausage is being made. They just care about getting to point A to B
Yeah.
with less than 10 cents.
As long as you can get it to
compared
my
to this can
door.
of beans.
If you can get it to my door, and I don't have to get up from my couch except to answer the door.
Oh,
Right.
the flooding in New York and DoorDash was still sending out people when, 2 feet? Not 2, I think it was 2 feet fell in New York.
Yeah, it's like,
from
what is a
Micah?
500-year flood
Yeah.
that happened this year.
And it was just, you had the picture of a dude with fucking takeout Chinese.
Yeah.
Up to his waist in water, walking across a road.
But this is the dark side of capitalism. In the book, I think the Toyota Way, they talk a criticism to this book in Japan was released, I think, back in 2013. But anyway, it was about how contract workers are the dirty secret of companies. Where you're mentioning, like, look, I can't believe these poor sons of bitches have to do this and get paid a pittance, and the decentralized company gets all of the riches, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's true for pretty much every company that's most likely in the Fortune 500. They will
that
outsource
can-
as much as they can.
Right, and that can absolutely backfire.
Oh, it absolutely should backfire, but
I don't know the legality of what I'm sure I brought it up before, but when I worked for a a particular international courier that was trying to make an inroad into American couriering.
Okay.
They bought a local company. They bought American Express or whatever it was. Not American Express, but
Something similar
yeah,
to
the
name.
third tier FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have UPS, you have FedEx, and you have stuff.
Yeah.
So DHL bought a stuff for a lot of money, subcontracted everything. You did not have a. I don't think we have to though.
Anyway.
Like, it's not speculation, but whatever. They subcontracted this out, and it was... They fucking lost more than they invested.
Yeah.
Like, they bought it for $7 billion or something, and they lost $10 billion because they just subcontracted everything. And subcontractors are also looking to pay the cheapest of the cheap.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just do what needs to be done, and we'll just deal with the overhead because what we're charging, what we're making is more... We're not going to deal with the upkeep because replacement is easier.
Yeah, and I would say that isn't obvious that Upkeep is really...
Unlike the mail tracks that are still the same goddamn mail tracks they've been using since the, I don't know.
Well, you've seen the bubble thing where they're all electric.
I have
Also,
not.
it's the most purchased vehicle in the country.
I have not seen this.
The three-wheeled fucking USPS things.
Oh, well, that's adorable. I have not seen these, but I probably will.
Yeah, I mean,
Eventually.
honestly, USPS should be all electric anyway.
They were going to have plans to do this, but they didn't have any money.
Oh, I
because-
wonder why.
Because of 2003 Congress.
Yes,
Yeah.
the poison pill.
The poison, yep.
You have to make sure that any current employees and future employees have their pension already in place.
For like 100 years or some
Yeah, it's like,
ridiculous number.
fucking what?
It was meant to
Stupid.
destroy the post office.
And
I'm
it
surprised
certainly
it just
tried.
And it
Pretty
came
much
damn
did.
close.
Well, not did, but yeah,
Fucking
it's pretty
Detroit
close.
was like,
Yeah.
Throws an axe into the fucking...
But my point of in the case of contract workers, it's funny that Upkeep is the name of the game. They can just totally abuse their poor consultants, contractors, or whatever.
but then that isn't necessarily upkeep because they're not holding on to their current labor. They're not improving their labor.
They're not investing.
That's
They're not
exactly
investing
it.
them, they're just replacing it.
They're doing it because Upkeep is expensive. So this is the loophole.
Yeah.
And so they're able just to churn and burn all of
They're
these
basically
poor souls.
renting. They're basically renting
Right.
labor.
And-
They're not owning labor or taking owning labor. Goddamn. Yeah, they don't have employees. They have contractors.
And that's really...
They're renting equipment instead of owning it.
And corporations know that Upkeep is expensive. And I think as a personal shopper or a consumerist, I also recognize that too. Like, I go for the cheapest thing because it's the most affordable most of the time.
So in the 80, 100, $120, you're going to get the $80 rice cooker?
Well, that's the thing, is that it'll bite you in the ass eventually, right?
So between questionable DHL, less questionable FedEx, and the standard UPS,
Reliable UPS.
which are you going to go for?
UPS.
Most of the time, probably the cheapest one.
Or depends what I'm sending.
It depends on what I'm trying to get too, because most of the stuff I'm getting is also garbage.
Between Walmart, Target, and Specialized, because I don't think there is another big box store along those lines that's kind of like the upper tier.
No, yeah, I agree
Costco,
with you.
maybe.
Well,
but
okay, are
Costco,
we
maybe.
doing groceries or are we doing
Both, because
London
most
Byerly's,
Walmarts are both.
Kowalski's, Hy-Vee. I mean, we have a lot.
No. In terms of a one-stop shop, because most Targets, most Walmarts offer
Costco then?
Costco.
So
Okay.
Costco would be the higher end. Of
Yeah,
that.
that would be the higher
Okay.
end. But you also have to buy more. You know, like you are spending more and buying more, like because
Potentially,
the way just the way that Costco works.
Well, I don't know if they still have the secondary, because there was the one membership where it's like the $150 flat, and just you get to go there and shop for whatever. But then they had like a $200, but what you spent.
I don't know. It was a $50.
I think they raised it up now with COVID.
So gross.
It was
Okay.
$100 in college.
Was it? Oh, maybe
Yeah.
it was 100, and I split it with my brother, so it was $50
Yeah.
for each of us. That
But it was, you either had like the one-time purchase or the thing that was more expensive, but a percentage of your purchase paid for your next year's subscription kind of thing. So if you shopped there enough, you essentially renewed your membership.
Yeah, and if you had like an Amex card or whatever, it would
Yeah,
also like
whatever.
Which I think they just moved to that now, where like that's your ID card and how you're supposed to pay.
or something like that. No,
Which
it hasn't been
is gross.
just. That's been around for a while. I think my parents have had that for a while.
Sure,
Costs
again,
so much.
I'm referring
Yeah,
this back
Costco's.
to college in the dark days
Yeah.
of the mid-aughts.
So,
when
okay, so
the war in
original-
Afghanistan was still a good thing.
Was it ever? Anyway, so your original
Was
point:
for
Walmart,
brief
Target,
Which
and
one?
Costco. Where are you shopping? line? Target.
But I feel
Middle of the road,
that
man.
but including Costco in that does have like there's a gate to get in that Costco. There isn't a gate to buy that $120 rice cooker other than its price. But that price isn't necessarily integrated into nobody can shop at Costco. You have to have there's that barrier to entry.
Well, that's my argument.
But I can't think of another big box like Kmart. Like Kmart, Walmart, Target, where are you going?
Kmart doesn't exist.
Kmart doesn't exist.
They do. In small.
There's like one Kmart left in the state, maybe.
And you know what? It has syphilis. As a building, and you just walk in there, you're like,
What about Goodwill?
syphilis
No,
now.
what's a good dollar store? Does that have groceries too?
I guess no, because Aldi's
Aldi's
has some
Aldi.
random ass shit.
They
I
do
like
have
Aldi's.
some random ass shit, but that doesn't.
But it's
that's
not,
not the same.
Yeah, you don't
level.
go like if you need a phone charger, you're not going to an Aldi's.
No,
Could get a phone charger though.
you could.
If
Sometimes
it was
they
on the
have it.
shipment, because
Yeah.
they're just like, what did nobody else buy? We're gonna buy it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if there's other big box stores that sell like there's obviously there's like Kowalski's, Lund's, and Byerly's, but those are grocery stores. They
That
do
have
sell.
like an aisle of stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
they have
you
like
can't go in
a
there and buy
few.
PlayStation games.
Yeah, exactly. Like Best Buy maybe, but that
But
doesn't sell
you can't
groceries.
you can't buy.
It's not a one-stop
Right.
shop.
So in terms of like big box stores, you only have
The
a
mall.
dichotomy.
The mall then.
Sure.
But there's a Target in the mall, so there's
So-
no Walmart in the mall.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of thing. I don't.
That's a weird, gross analogy. God, capitalism is fucking disgusting.
It is. I would still go to Target though.
And
I
I
mean,
was-
I have gone to Walmart because they have more variety than Target does. To be perfectly frank, they do have more stuff.
Yeah, there is some stuff that you can't get anywhere else. But
Like LED lights.
Please go to the Walmart in my hometown and
big.
see how it's on the verge of collapsing.
Well,
As like the only big box store in a town of like 12,000, and it's nobody can fucking work there because nobody fucking wants to work there, so they might shutter their doors.
Oh,
Honestly, I think
darn.
big boxes are also the death of small town America,
kind of.
oh yeah.
A little bit.
and also big town America.
Yeah.
I drive by 4 Targets on my way from home to work.
There's so many Targets.
That's
but
gross.
It kind of is. I actually appreciate though that they're close because I don't want to drive that far
Right.
to get groceries.
But I would like. I hate that it's. This is onto a different topic about corporatism and how much I hate corporatism because we shouldn't have corporations. We should have just people
No.
investing in people investing and risking their own business. The supply chain's already there. You just disseminate it from whatever supply chain Walmart and Target have, and it just goes to smaller stores, which will invigorate entrepreneurs.
I have shopped at some of these smaller stores,
Boutique.
and let me tell you,
No, but boutiques are not. They won't be carrying the same product that Walmart
There
has because
was-
they have to set themselves
No,
apart,
this
so
is
they
small.
aren't carrying that shit.
This is like small town grocery. Like this is like.
Oh, the home center? Great.
No, I think it was called Goodman's. Like it was literally like owned by a family, and it was the only grocery store in this small town, right? And they had some questionable things. Like they had the basic stuff, but like all of their milk products, like you had to like be careful because like a lot of it was on the verge of expiry. Like it was not because there isn't enough people to keep that supply. Like
Yeah, you're not cycling through your older product.
yeah, you're just not enough. Like it's like going to a gas station or something, and so you're like, how long has this been on the shelf? Like,
Wait, hold.
now to be fair,
Where?
like some of
Where?
the things, like they had a
Where's the
deal with
expiration?
like the local, like they had a local butcher, and they would have like local meats and stuff, and like that was, and it was like the town, meats, like that was. So they had a fresh deli basically. Well,
Yeah.
for meats, they didn't. I don't know about the cheese. The cheese is sus.
What are you talking about? That's supposed
And
to
their
be green
bakery
cheddar.
was depressing is what we're gonna say. But like, yeah, so like I don't know, small town, like they can't service, like they can service a small town, those small businesses can, but you need a corporation in a city like this. I would argue that you need a Walmart or Target level.
I disagree
store.
because you don't need logistically, possibly, but in terms of the footprint of those type of stores, and if you change their supply chain to disseminate to, if you broke up
I mean,
a Target,
like a Trader Joe's.
No. If you broke up a Target into its component parts of all of its sections, so you have the clothes department, you have electronics, you have the food, you have the pharmacy.
So you're getting rid of my one-stop shop? I have to go elsewhere?
Yeah.
No, that's fuck you and your non-convenience. No, I want a one-stop shop.
Yeah, I also want to destroy capitalism, so we're gonna have to make some sacrifices.
No,
here.
I like convenience. I'm gonna argue. that's I'm not willing to.
And also, the thing I was encouraging was just a more diffuse capitalism, so it wasn't really abolishing.
No, it's
capitalism,
not
but
good. It's not good.
fucking with our ability to distribute our economy because we have such consolidation in such important facets of American life. To be a citizen in this country, you have to go to one of these one-stop shops, and that is killer to small businesses.
You do if you want to like be able to afford to live. Yeah.
Which is also becoming more and more tenuous in this country.
Yeah, it is.
Because of corporations.
Well, so this is why there were malls, right?
Oh, right.
This is why malls were built. Is so you could go to one place to get all of your individual things. So you only had to make one trip because
But
it's
they were luxury items. They weren't necessities.
Not really.
Tell
Some
me what's
of them-
important at a hot topic that is essential for human life.
Okay, there's a lot of clothing stores, and those are just that's fair. But there's things at the mall that are.
Invader Zim. Sorry.
Unless it's the one scene where the kid's getting his eyes swapped out. Fuck it all.
But this is like in my mind. This was the purpose of a mall is to have like.
But you never
all
had
of your
grocery stores at all.
Yeah, you do.
Sometimes some anchors do.
Some
do.
anchors,
But not many.
Not
Food
many.
courts, grocery stores.
All of America doesn't have any groceries.
They have food though.
At how much of a markup? Because
Yeah,
it's at the Mall of America?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, Mall
that's
of
kind of like
America,
a place to
No,
do
but
something.
that-
But I'm like,
yeah.
I'm thinking
Sure, that's
strip
everything ad
malls.
absurdum.
Like I'm thinking strip malls, right?
Yeah.
So like a strip mall where you have like a
I support
there's
that
a grocery.
more.
Yeah, but then you have to like you can park, but you have to go into one store, buy that, and then we also need clothes, so we're gonna walk down now to buy this. So we have to
So you have the grocery part, and then you have the clothing part of Target that is a greater distance than those buildings would be a part of a strip mall.
Yeah, but you gotta get in and out of your car and
you have to get in your car.
Where?
You have to get in the car, get a cart, collect your stuff, and then you have to go check out.
What?
No, you have to get out of the car. You go to the grocery. No, actually, you probably
Then
go
you
to
get your pants back on.
No,
Wait.
wait. No. So, strip mall, right? Strip mall. Clothing shop. Okay, you're going to go shop at the clothing store because you don't want to get your groceries first because the groceries have cold items. They'd have to sit in your car.
That's true.
You can't bring the grocery items into the fucking
That's
boutique.
true.
So, you have to go to this little clothing store, buy your clothes, go check out, bring your clothes to the car.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
You could bring them in. You can't
You're
bring
not gonna bring them
You're not
in.
going to bring them in. Then you have to
bring
carry
them in.
those fucking bags. No, fuck that.
How is that any different from you getting a cart or a basket at a Target and
Because you
still
only have to
lugging
do
all
it
that
once.
shit around?
You only have to do it once.
But you're still lugging that shit around for
No,
the
you
same
don't.
duration.
No, you're not.
Well,
Fucking
we're-
not.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say
This is like twice as much work.
I'm just
twice
gonna
as
say-
much work.
Yeah, and you know what America lacks? People.
You know what, Micah? Fuck you. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on.
Wow.
My German horse I rode in on.
Fuck your German horse.
And that's the end of this episode.
I plan to.
I'm gonna murder you. Get out of the way. My
And,
neighbors are so
I'm
mad
Shit,
right
that's
now.
legally applicable. Sarah, come on.
My neighbors are really mad right now. I'm sure.
Thanks for sticking with it.
I apologize.
For
Sorry,
anyone who's
Mom.
still listening. And that is
Respect!
why that's why upkeep is kind of something we think about. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Die in a fire, Micah. Thanks, Mom.